Hello, and welcome to episode 317 of the Heart of Markness Led Zeppelin podcast. I am again a day late, 2 days late, really. And again, I apologize. Lots going on. I spent most of yesterday onboarding at the new job. Lots of paperwork, lots of stuff. It's a better job than I had before. And I get the good insurance. I get the good holidays. I get because I'm the assistant to the CEO, which is going to be stressful as fuck, but I can handle it. However, well, not even however, I'm assistant to the CEO, so I'm kind of classified as management. And as such, I get on the privileged tier of benefits, and it was really crazy cool. Very cool. Very cool, very weird. Still surreal. I'm still waiting for Lucy to pull the football away, But doesn't look like it's happening. So yay, I start on the 23rd. And although everybody's like, well, now you've got 2 weeks to just chill. I do, but I've been chilling for the last 6 months. And I'm done chilling. I'm bored. And now I have to make the money I have left, which isn't all that much, but it's fine, last until my first paycheck. So I can't go out and have fun because now I have to be extra thrifty. But it's all good. It's all good. I am the happiest guy in the world. Super grateful for the job and the opportunity, etc., etc. Yay. So that's me. That's why I'm doing this on Tuesdays. Or doing it on Tuesday today. Anyway, that's the story. But the good news is, since I dragged my feet so long, I came upon a new release of June 7th, 1977, Led Zeppelin at Madison Square Garden. Their first of many nights at Madison Square Garden. I don't know. I think it's 5. I don't know. It's at least 3. However, it is a Northbridge remaster, which has a bit of controversy. Some people don't like what he does. I like it more than I don't like it, for sure. I like what he did with Blueberry Hill, and I kind of like this one. It's different. It's one of those, well, we know Northbridge. I think what happens is using AI to strip the individual instrument stems, so then you can mix each instrument individually, like in the studio, because the stereo spectrum is Jimmy is on the right, Bonzo and Robert are in the middle, and Jonesy's on the left. Now, the bass on this sounds unbelievable. You know how Jonesy had these giant subwoofers for the first time in 1977. I think it's for the first time. And he had that alembic bass, which had a wider spectrum of response. And I think he could even send deep below frequency cutoff goes to this feed and above goes to this feed. But now I'm just conjecturing. But in any case, the bass sounds incredible. Super duper cool. If you don't like it, no worries. All of this is subjective. So there's not these suck unless somebody actually just sucks at doing this. It's subjective. I like this. I like what he did to it. And I'm going to share it with you. It's the whole concert that is a couple of things buttoned up, speed corrected, etc., etc. And sorry, looking at this. Oh, holy shit. I'm so glad. I'm reading the wrong info file. For some reason, I had an info file for June 3rd, 1973 open. No, June 2nd, probably the Kazar one. Because I'm they didn't open with rock and roll. Dazed and confused. What the hell is this? So sorry. So, ring-a-ding-ding. And we have, the set list is, song remains the same, Sick Again, Nobody's Fault But Mine, In My Time of Dying, and they throw in a little You Shook Me there. No Quarter, 10 Years Gone, the acoustic set, Battle of Evermore, Going to California, Black Country Woman, and Bron-Y-Aur Stomp. Over into White Summer, moving into Kashmir, where the boys get lost, a lot like they did in Zurich 1980. They just kind of go around until they find their feet again and keep going. It's more funny than it is anything else. Where was I? Kashmir, yes. Over the top, Jimmy's Noise solo, Achilles Last Stand, Stairway to Heaven, Whole Lot of Love, which is just banana, and then right into rock and roll. And they're over and done. You can get this, go to heartofmarkness.com. You can get this recording for free, as I have gotten it for free. Moving things over to my Google Drive, since I'm getting takedown notices on the Mega Drive, so we'll see how that goes. We'll keep the ball rolling. All right. I am playing 2 songs for you because this is 1977 and the songs are rather long. The first one I'm going to play for you is Achilles Last Stand. So we're just at about 10 and a half minutes of genius. Let's jump in and enjoy hearing this in a new way. Thank you, Northbridge, for doing this. I understand this is a labor of love. I think it's neato. You do good stuff. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Wondering what ways to last the touch. For the mighty arms of Atlas, all the heavens from the earth. For the mighty arms of Atlas, all the heavens from the earth, from the earth. Where the mighty arms of Atlas hold the heavens from the earth. It's been a good one tonight, and for that very reason we must dedicate the next song to the fact that good vibes are alive and well in New York.
Gee, I wonder what song they were going to play next. I guess we'll never know. Well, thank you for listening to that, my friends. That was pretty badass. Jonesy's bass, the star of the show, in my opinion. It's nice to be able to hear those fat lines with some clarity because they're pretty goddamn cool. I like that. I like it a lot. I think it's cooler in speakers than it is in headphones, because I think in headphones you can maybe hear some more of the digital oddness. But I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. It's all, like I said, it's all subjective. I think it's pretty cool. I'm glad it exists. Northbridge, good job, bro. And we still have a million different versions of this show from a million different sources and a million different rips from the master tape over the last 48 years. Holy shit. So, whatever. Thank you, Northbridge. Thanks to everybody who does this kind of stuff. It's very cool. It's not like you eliminate the previous releases. You just add to the table. So, yay. All right, since we are only playing 2 songs, the next song is going to be a 27-minute no quarter, including the Nutrocker. Because, you know, Christmas music, it's June 7th, 1977. Of course they're going to play Christmas music. So, before we get to that, we have the spiel. You can find me where you can find me, because you found me. I also have a Facebook group, Heart of Markness Facebook group, Twitter, Blue Sky, I think it's called, Instagram, none of which I've used recently because I'm terrible at self-promotion. Shit, I barely pulled it together to do this today. So, but if you do contact me on any of those platforms, I do get an email notification and I will get back to you. I'm on YouTube as well, if I hadn't mentioned that. If you do want to contact me, you can contact me through mark@heartofmarkness.com or through any of the other options I listed. And I mentioned heartofmarkness.com earlier. That is my website where I post basically the show, the description, and a link to download it if available. And about 99% of my shows have download links. So there's that. So go there, avail yourself of this stuff. If you dig it, then yay. And if you dig what I do and find value in it, you may consider becoming a patron of this fine podcast, patreon.com/Heart of Markness. And you can join the elect, whose names are read weekly. So a Laurel and Hardy handshake goes out to Stephen, Ryan, John, Gary, Keith, Tilda, the World Traveler, Steve, George, Big Ed, Kenny. Thanks for your note, man. I don't think I replied because I suck. But yay, enjoy that golfing, my friend. You rock. Picard, Knegarn, welcome back. It's always good to see you. Jeff, I like what you do, Jeff. I see you on the internets all the time. You share some really cool stuff. Wayne, Prince of a Man, one of the nicest people I've never met. Haha, because I've never met him, but he's very kind. Brad, Baked Beans, Brad, and Brad. I forgot to mention him last week because I'm an idiot and I can't read. So thank you, Brad. You are wonderful. Danielle, known her, I haven't seen her. Used to work with her. A patron. Bless your heart, Danielle. Tracy, used to work with him. A patron. Bless his heart. David, other David, supreme and supernal David. Oh my God, what to say about this guy other than he seems to be one of the best forces of good and altruism that I have encountered in the wild. And, in his honor, may I suggest you have a camera stuck up your ass? What did you just say? Yes, get a colonoscopy if you need one. If you're listening to this show, chances are you're old enough to need one. So go get one. It's better than dying. Bonzo Billy. What more can be said? Bonzo Billy. There's nothing more. And Mimo. My oldest patron, I think my first patron. And the poor guy, I am so sheltered that I've never heard those syllables put together in such a way. I've never heard Mimo as a name. So when I heard it, being, of course, 57 years old and an adult, or however old I was at the time, 50-something, I just thought it was silly. So, Mimo, I love you. You are wonderful. You do cool stuff, and you do cool stuff. All right, page 2. Sorry about this. I'm having a good time here. Oh, one of our guys changed his username. All right, Zero Mark 30. I like that. Cool name. Holy Flash, Don, Martin, Black Dragon, Keld, Mario C, Lance, and Rob from where? That's right, Melbourne, Australia. Where you wear shoes on your head and hats on your feet because everything's upside down there. You didn't know that, did you? They compensate for that when they show video from the southern hemisphere. They invert the picture so you don't get disoriented. Yes. Okay. Thank you. All right. That's enough of that. Patreon.com/HeartofMarkness. If you want to support the channel in such a way, it is welcome, but not mandatory. All right, let's jump into No Quarter. This is going to be a long one. If you have to go potty now. We're not pulling over midway. So, 27 minutes, go say goodbye to your kids. Say goodbye to your grandkids. You'll be gone before the song's over. The song's long. All right, guys, No Quarter, June 7th, 1977. Let's listen to some of the best music made by some of the best people to make it. Enjoy.
Close the door, put out the light. You know they won't be home tonight. Oh no, the snow falls hard, don't you know? The winds that start blow. They will steal the signs. Feel the drain from the emptiness. People, it's just a dream. No prayer. That's what did so long. The ducks of doom howling, mulling, 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 mulling. Anywhere and steel, it's bright and slow. To feel the dream, from the end to end. Baby, it's just a dream. That's something I hold
That was pretty cool. For something almost half an hour long, it was compelling. Jonesy, unbelievable. Bonzo this show. Holy shit. Not with the bombastic, unbelievable, crazed berserker force of the LA shows, but really cool. I like that. Hope you liked it too. And even when Jimmy is soloing, and if he hits a thing where he's just hitting one note or something, in the background, Jonesy and Bonzo are going nuts. So that was a delight. I hope you enjoyed it. I like what Northbridge did to it. There were some points in the piano only section where you could hear in the right channel the threshold of the crowd mic hits, and you can hear the crowd turning on and off kind of a little bit. That's all right. Shit happens. That's the vagaries of the recording. I like this. Hope you like it too. Go to heartofmarkness.com. Download this if you want. And yeah, otherwise I will talk to you next week. Please be good to yourselves and others. And thanks for everything. Adios.